We're going to use a little known trick within LINQ to solve two common problems you see in applications. Here we have a list of names. Those names are in random order. Here we have a LINQ query. It's very simple for the sake of this example. We're just going to order them into proper alphabetical order, and then we have a right line just to show the answer on the screen. It's very common in an application that you want to know the original ordering when you process the answer. You want to know the index of where it was when it started, and you can actually do this using a trick. Here you can see we've put the select before the order by. That's critical because at this point in the select, the ordering is the ordering of the original list. The second point is to use a special override of select, which takes two parameters in the lambda. Name being the value that's coming from the enumerable, but also it gives you the index ordering. From that, we can just create an anonymous object with the name and the index. Then after we order it, each entry will have the original indexing from the list. Let's output that to the screen and we can see very quickly how that works. So the original order by gives it in alphabetical order, and our special version also puts in alphabetical order and Bob Charlie, but it also gives us the index of where it was in the original list. For example, Dick, the original index was 0, as indeed we can see here, it's the first item in the list, but it's the second to last once it's been ordered. So that's a nice little trick to remember when you're having linked objects, that you can use this select override to get that original index and keep it for the output, where it just saves you difficulties in getting the ordering. Our second example solution is this common pattern. In this case, we have a for each, and it's going to work over the names collection, and then we want to keep track of how many times we've been round the loop. So we're going to have a variable I, we declare it, and then we just increment it each time round, and then we can use it in any way we need to. In this case, a right line. Real code is probably going to do something more interesting with it. What we want to do is to convert this into something like this, much shorter and compact. So we have a for each, we've got our names collection, and we're going to use an extension method that we're about to create, and it's going to return a value tuple. That value tuple has two entries, the value that's coming back from the names collection, and then its index within the collection, and then we can use that within our code as we like. The implementation is very simple. We have a static class because we have an extension method. Then here is the static method itself. It's called with index. We're going to make it work with any type of enumerable, so we've got a generic type. Then we have an input parameter. The input is just a IEnumerable of the type. And then the implementation is really simple. It's the select that we've seen before. We're using that special override, which has two parameters, the value and its index, and we just simply return it as a value tuple. Inside the for each, we just use deconstruction to pull out the value tuple into individual values, which are then used. So let's see it working by making this code a bit simpler. And there we go, it's given us our items and it's told us the index. Notice in this particular scenario, we're not trying to do any sorting or anything else. We're just saying, give me the names and I want the index number as we go along. There you go, I hope that was useful. If so, hit the like button, and until next time, keep on trucking.